So, hello and good afternoon. Welcome to this week's weekly analysis, another episode of Weekly Outlook. So, I will be covering the weekly outlook on NASDAQ and SP 500. For those who have been asking why I don't share the weekly outlook on gold and silver, or probably gold, XAU USD, it's because I have reserved that for my mentorship students or people who are in the paid services. So, whatever I post here is for people who consume my services for free. So if you would like access to that, you can reach out. But let's get into the weekly analysis because that is what we should be doing here. So I want to start with the fundamental analysis. As I had mentioned in the live stream has experienced some network issues, so it keeps ending abruptly. So I've decided to record a video and just upload it. So to start with the fundamental analysis, we have today, Tuesday 9th, we have high impact news at 6 p.m. And then tomorrow we have the very much awaited federal fund rates release. So that is very important. It actually is the most decisive factor in this week's price action because, as you will see in the technical analysis that I will take you through, we have both sides of the market and we have to wait for tomorrow's decision from the federal. If they cut the rate, I will be expecting bullish price action because the dollar will gain strength. If they do not cut the rates, I will be fully dependent on the technical analysis. If they increase the rate, then it is the vice versa. I will be expecting very bearish price action moving forward into the week and the rest of December. So I hope you have understood that. So let's get into the technical analysis so that I can show you how we have both sides. We have both indications in the market, bearish and bullish. So we have to depend on tomorrow's decision, which is a very big decision, the last of the year. It is the last Fed rate of the year. So it will be very decisive in how we move towards the rest of the week and so forth, the rest of the month. So let's get into it. So looking at how last week printed, our weekly targets were reached. You remember I had mentioned that I am targeting the relative equal highs and this intermediate high on US 100. So those were hit. However, I was not able to participate because the price action was not as ideal as I would have liked it to be, and my model did not give me any entry, which is okay. So last week I ended the week with 0 trades on NASDAQ. So price did reach the weekly targets, the weekly draw on liquidity, but my model did not give me any entry, as you have observed in my Telegram channel. So we were not able to get any trades on that. So let's get into this week's price action. So looking at what last week printed and what the previous week had printed, which was the last week of November and the first week of December. So we should be expecting more bullish price action as we target the all-time highs. I had mentioned that in the last week's weekly analysis. So we can see that we got a very good close above the previous week high, and then we targeted that. But then that is where I start to get some signs of maybe a reversal, which now I tie to the Fed rates tomorrow, because you can see that after we swept this liquidity, the relative equal highs, you can see that the candle was not able to close above that. And as you know, the bodies tell the story and the wicks do the damage. So The wicks did the damage, they swept that liquidity, and then the body of the candle remained inside that swept liquidity. So what does that tell us? We might be getting a reversal from that point to the downside, same as on US 100. We got that sweep on this intermediate weekly high, swept it, then the body remained inside. So that tells me that we could be getting ready for a reversal, but I will only be sure after Fed's decision tomorrow. So let's go to the daily time frame so that we can uh, see what's happening there. So basically, I will be bullish or bearish after tomorrow's decision and probably after tomorrow's candle has printed. Okay, so I should release the. So what I'm looking at in the daily candle is how Monday printed. So you understand that is why I usually do my weekly outlook on Tuesday, because I depend mostly on how Monday printed to tell me to give me a roadmap for the rest of the week. So I usually wait for Monday to print. I've said that a lot. So yes, and we can see we have some, as I have mentioned, we are starting to see very subtle signs of bearish price action, but then we have to really wait until the markets confirms that that is the way it really wants to go before we can proceed to make any decisions on where to trade and how to trade. So basically on the daily candle, you can see that Monday, yesterday, it went higher, swept the previous week high, which was Friday, swept that high right here, and I should mark that with a relative with a horizontal line. So we had that liquidity sweep. We swept the previous week high and then the previous week high, and also we confirmed the liquidity sweep. Additionally, we tapped into an area of imbalance, an area of sell side imbalance. So here, right here, we tapped the 50% of that and went even deeper to the premium side of that fair value gap, and then we started displacing lower. So what does that tell us? It tells us that maybe price action is not interested in filling it or maybe continuing to the upside for this week. So that is why I've told you on the weekly chart, I am starting to see very subtle signs of bearish price action. But in general, I am bullish until tomorrow when the Fed gives us their decision. So on this other asset, so you can see that we hit our relative equal heights. That was our weekly draw on liquidity last week. So that was hit, it was swept, and after price swept it, it closed inside. So this is Friday's candle, and you can see that on US 500, price was not able to sweep the previous week high yesterday on Monday. So that becomes an SMT, a daily SMT on that level. So you can see that we are now starting to align a few things that match with the price action. So we have a daily SMT right there because price was not able to sweep that and it displaced lower. So however, we also have a bullish SMT on US 100. So as I have told you, now I am starting to see both sides of the price action, because you can see that Friday's low was not swept on US 500, on US 100. So I had actually not noticed that until now, but okay. So you can see that we swept Friday's low and even went deeper into probably the daily change in state of delivery. So that is a daily order block. So we tapped into it and price returned to close back inside this range, this previous day range. So that is what I mean when I tell you I am seeing both sides of the market. And now, because we have a very big decision that will affect the market long term tomorrow, I have to wait for more information from this market. So I will delete these two. So you can see I can support both of my bullish bias and my bearish bias. So what you do in such a case is that you wait for maybe such information such as tomorrow, where we have the rate cut, or you wait for a few days to print, and then you can have more information on where the markets want to draw. So basically, for a bullish scenario, what I will be anticipating to be reached will be the all-time highs on both assets. And then for a bearish scenario, I want to show you something very interesting. We'll go to the 1 hour chart where we have retail targeting some form of a trend line liquidity. So if tomorrow the Fed do not cut the rates, if they maybe increase it or something of the sort, this is trend line liquidity. So I want it to be swept to the downside before price maybe resets and continues with the bullish move upwards. Actually, no matter what the Fed actually do tomorrow, I would like to see this being swept, because these are very clean liquidity points. So for retail, they are taking this as a bullish trend line. So I would like for their setup to be invalidated, their stops to be stopped out, and then maybe retest the 0.5 level that we were observing last week, and then price can, or probably go below this daily change in state of delivery. So we have this whole order block. We can retest that, and price can now continue with the bullish move upwards, because I honestly believe that uh, we did the monthly analysis together on last week's weekly analysis, and I explained why I want to see the all-time highs being taken out. I'm very bullish this month. So even if the Fed do not give us positive news report tomorrow, I think this week I will be bearish as we target this trend line liquidity. So this is a trend line phantom according to ICT concepts. So I would like that to be swept. Their stops should be stopped out. We retest the 0.5 level, and then we leave that area of price action as we target the all-time highs next week and probably to the end of December. But I will be ending my trading next week on Friday, so I have only this week and next week. So basically that is what I want to see, and from the signs I'm getting, I'm starting to see a bearish week. However, I will insist that it will be very dependent on what happens tomorrow. So expect very choppy price action tomorrow, because as you can see, the technicals are already giving us both sides of the market. So expect very choppy price. I do not trade on FOMC. I only trade during the AM session of FOMC, and then I let the PM session go, and then I come back the next day to continue with my trading mix. So basically what I will be trading tomorrow, because today I do not have a clear daily bias, because on the daily we do not have a bullish bearish change in state of delivery. So targeting those the trend line liquidity, I would like to first get some form of change in state of delivery at this level, because this was the last up close candle. So I would like price to close below that. So I really want to observe how Tuesday closes today, and then I can get uh, uh, more confidence in my setup. So this was the last up close candle. We didn't close below it yesterday, so I want to observe how price reacts to that level today. Last up close candle. Okay, so I really want to observe how today prints, because if we were to close back above this, then it will have confirmed that tomorrow we have bullish price action despite the release. On this other asset, we have the same thing. If we close above this, the if I get a daily change in state of delivery here, because this is the last down close candle as of now. So if I get a change in state on that level, then I will be bullish for the rest of the week. And if I get a bearish change in state of delivery on this level, then I will have confirmed that we are going to have a bearish week and sweep all the sell side liquidity that was left behind in the form of a trend line. So I think that will be my parting shot. I am observing how price closes reacts to this level, the last up close candle, it's open. And then I am also observing how price reacts to yesterday's bearish candle. If I get a close above, so on that level, I will be bullish for the rest of the week. If I get a close below this, I will be bearish for the rest of the week. Apply the same thing on US 100, and you have a framework for waiting for your setups for the rest of the week. So yes, that's it for the weekly outlook. And if you haven't joined my Telegram, I will be sharing the trade setups that I take tomorrow. So today I'm not trading. I will be observing how that prints, because I do not have any cemented bias yet until we have a clear daily change in state of delivery, as I have explained. So I will not be trading. I want today to print so that I can get more information. Tomorrow I will be trading the AM session, strictly the AM session, and then I will be out of the market as the federal fund rates come and bring chaos into the market. So stay safe and join my Telegram channel. I will be sharing the setups and my analysis on how price is unfolding. So stay tuned and trade safe. The link to my Telegram will be, should be, I will add it on the description below, so you can join. The channel is for free. So thank you for listening to this video and have a good day.